Cam Ward is coming off the worst game of his NFL career against Vegas, and we are going to break down every important drop back. He was 26 for 38, 222 passing yards, a touchdown, an interception, and 6 sacks, although 13 of his pass attempts were behind the line of scrimmage, so there weren't really a lot of opportunities downfield in this game. First play, they're running a levels concept, hits Calvin Ridley on this over route. He ends up kind of fading away from the throw, but really good job to put enough velocity on this and hit him in stride. The first sack of the game, I'm going to put on Kevin Zeitler for losing to this spin move. Ideally, he'd be able to rip out of the tackle and find his outlet with Gunnar Helm underneath, but good job by 96 to wrap up here. Next play is 2nd and 10. They're running kind of a drive concept with 2 in-breakers at different levels. I'm assuming that he's trying to hit Tyler Lockett here. If he's targeting Iamanor, this is way too much velocity to put on a 5-yard drag, but assuming he's targeting Lockett just a couple yards out in front of him. And then next play is another good process, but bad ball placement from Cam Ward. Lockett opens up at the midpoint of these 2 zone defenders. Ward throws it with good timing, but it just nosedives. Lockett has to reach down for it, and he can't finish the catch. Now, J.C. Latham had an awful game. I'll give him some grace because it's his first game back from injury, but he's got to pick his level of play up as soon as possible. On this play, he's got to take the most dangerous, which is 45 Devin White, but he leaves him unblocked, strip sack, Raiders get the ball at the 2-yard line. The ball security needs to be better, absolutely, but this sack is on J.C. Latham. Third sack, the Titans are running a 2-man concept to the top of your screen. Van Jefferson breaks open here, but when Cam Ward feels the pressure, he abandons the read. I think he had 2 options here. He could stand tall in the pocket, hit Jefferson on the deep out. That would have been the best play, but obviously very high difficulty. But worst case scenario, when you abandon this first concept, you got to dump it off to Chigakonkwo, and you can see from the moment he feels the pressure, his eyes are pointed to the ground, so he has no way to see the field. As far as the protection, you've got J.C. Latham losing the corner. Peter Skoronski gets tripped up, not really his fault. Tony Pollard loses in blitz pickup, and then a really nice rep from Dan Moore. I included this play because I'm pretty sure Iamanor is supposed to adjust his route here. Pre-snap, it looks like single high, but they rotate to cover 2. Iamanor just runs directly down the numbers regardless of what this safety does. Cam Ward's looking at him almost as if he's expecting him to run a different route, which I assume would be a corner into the soft spot of cover 2. But Ward has to break the pocket, throw the ball away. Good job on this play of keeping his eyes up in the face of pressure. Peter Skoronski's losing the edge. He moves off this front side concept, gives a quick pump to the flat, and then hits Van Jefferson on the hole shot. And then right before the end of the half, the Titans have a chance to get 3 here. Ward tries to make a late throw as he's getting hit. I'm not exactly sure who he was targeting here, so it might have been intercepted regardless, but can't have a turnover like this at the end of the half. Into the second half, they start off with a bootleg, which, as we've discussed, Cam Ward has had some issues executing this year. Nice throw on the run here, though. Wasn't getting a whole lot of coverage from this flat defender. But they get into the red zone, and the O-line just crumbles. Kevin Zeitler inexplicably doesn't block anyone. J.C. Latham gives a really short corner, and Cam Ward just gets compressed. A couple great timing anticipation throws later, though. This one's 4th and 3, hits Iamanor right out of the break, and then 2nd down later in the drive. It's hard to throw a speed out with better timing than this. Right here, he tries to throw up a 50-50 ball to Gunnar Helm, which I'm always in favor of, but overshoots it, and it's uncatchable. 1st and 10 on the 1, Tennessee runs play action. Perfect throw here, hits Martin Robinson in stride. I wish they would run more of these concepts, not on the goal line, like play action bang, just have them rip a 15-yard in-breaker. And then last drive of the game is going to start off with a bad snap and a sack. This is just a terrible set from J.C. Latham. I know he's going up against Max Crosby, but he could be going up against Femi Oladejo right here, and this would be a sack. Next play is another nice hole shot on the backside of cover 2. This is probably only going to be this open in a 2-minute drill, but still a good job by Ward to find it. And then the last offensive play of the game, we see Ward start to gradually morph into Will Levis. There are a few plays in this game like this where he just lost control of the ball. For as bad as Tennessee's offensive line is, they can't afford to just be donating strip sacks like this. Overall, I don't think it's time to panic, but this was Cam Ward's worst game, and if this sort of thing starts to become a trend, then that is a major reason for concern.